Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to Mordheim, City of the Damned. It's Kitten Paw bringing you the Battle of Behemoths. This is going to be a little introductory video to the upcoming PvP event I'm trying to organize. We currently have 11 out of 12 contestants, so for a little quick update. We're hoping to start in the next couple of weeks, so there's one slot left. Though King Jiggy has written me and said he may have to bow out because of university classes. So we'll see. There may be 2 slots. 10 at least is an even number. We might just stop and hold it at 10 and do 1 league. If we can get 12 players, I'd like to do the 2 leagues of 6. So I don't know. Hopefully we can get the 12. But anyway, I just haven't found that 12th player for like over a week or more now. So maybe 10's about as good as we can do. So that said, I want to talk about the Warband Composition because I've written it, and I said I was going to post this video for all you visual learners out there. I've decided you can have what is it? Take 6 units. So you can have a leader. I mean, this is what will come to combat. Obviously, you need a leader, 2 heroes, and an impressive. As far as reserves, you can have 2 heroes. You'd have 2 leaders. You'd have a leader and a hero. So any combination of which, or you can have an impressive, since an impressive takes up 2 slots. See how it's like a 2-slot thing? So you can have 2 impressives. Now, none of the Warband files have a second impressive, so I'm not sure if anyone will be doing that. But, there's not much reason for that, unless you really, really want specific builds. So I'd expect maybe a backup leader and hero, or maybe 2 backup heroes, depending on your opponent. So you'll be taking 1 active leader into the combat, 2 active heroes, and an active impressive, with any combination of 2 heroes, 2 leaders, hero leader, or impressive as a backup. So none of these slots will be used. You can, of course, obviously have units in there. I would excuse me. I would highly recommend backing up your file, because if you're like me, you have like a totally full warband. So back up the file, throw away your henchmen, and then play around with that. That can be your Battle Behemoths file. And I mean, I could show you guys how to do that, but I think most of you do at this point. So that's how it'll work as far as Warband Composition. And this will be recorded, so I want you guys to get going on these files. Hopefully after this video you'll kind of know the rules pretty well and can design your warbands and start making your warbands. And then I want to record and lock in these units for the remainder of the tournament. So the whole point is we want to show the builds off, the ones that are working and very effective for the community to see. And then we also don't want people like min-maxing in between battles. Like, oh, I know I'm going against the sisters, so let me respec all of my units to have super magic resistance. That, I mean, it just bogs down the tournament and makes it pretty unfair. Because if the other player's not doing that, it's not fair. It's just not fair. So we've done this for Mordheim Madness Season 2. We'll be doing it here for the Battle of Behemoths. So that's your Warband Composition. I guess I will mention at this point, obviously you can wear all the purples you want, backup weapons you want, and at this point, just 1 purple consumable. Also, only the maiden is smart enough, I guess is a way to say it, to use a consumable. So your leader can take 2 consumables. He can take 2 purples, and the expectation is 1 he can use on himself, but the other one has to be used on the impressive. So each unit gets to use 1 purple consumable, but your leader will have to carry 2, just because the impressive, for most warbands, are unable to use it. The maiden can carry her own. We'll give that to her. I mean, we could say, to make it fair, quote unquote, that the leader has to carry the maidens. That's up for debate, but I'm okay with just the maiden carrying her own. I mean, she's a smart, intelligent, modern woman. We'll give her that, okay? So that's that as far as consumables and equipment. So I don't think there's much else to say there. We're going to go into how to create the match. These are going to be exhibitions. There'll be 2 backtracking. I really like 2 more than 1, because there can be surprise doors or no doors and whatnot for where you expected it. And I don't think you can scout too much with 2. There's going to be a 60-second turn timer. No roaming monster, obviously. Deployment timer is none. It's fine. It should be pretty quick anyway. The route threshold is going to be 0. Everyone has to die, everybody. So don't care about your stupid flag either. You can just leave it there, whatever. I don't want someone to win because they grab a flag. Now you can concede if it's looking kind of obvious you're effed and you don't want to wait another turn or 2. You can always just give up, if you will. The maps we'll be getting into, but they're going to be the special maps. But once you pick a special map, we'll look at one we're actually looking at, Temple of Sigmar. Gameplay is going to be none. This is pretty important because it turns off all the special features. For example, the marketplace has these acid pools everywhere, which are a huge pain in the ass. So if you go to none, there are no acid pools. It's suddenly just a wide open arena. So it's important that you put gameplay to none. And we'll get into the deployment. I've talked about them. On Marketplace, it's actually going to be random. I kind of like all 3. And later in this video, I'll be showing you the deployments. Auto deployment will be off. You are to place your own units. And that's about it. I mean, these don't matter. You can make it daytime, nighttime, I don't care. And these secondaries are irrelevant. So that's about it for the settings. I guess I'll talk again before I show the maps. We'll go back to the Warband. The way you get points in this, I mean, I could show it on tournament, but we'll just talk about it here because I don't really have it set up yet as far as the scoring system. But if you win, you get 1 point. So if you defeat your opponent, you get 1 point. You also get a point if you kill the enemy impressive. So obviously the winning team will get 2 points because you have to kill the impressive and the team. Now I guess there's a situation where you're beating your opponent, you've killed all 3 non-impressive units and your opponent routes and just gives up. I mean, I would say please don't do that in that situation. But if that happens, I mean, just please don't do that. Let's just say that. Like, stay until your impressive dies at least, okay? So we'll just put that out there right now. Don't route until your impressive is out of it, just to not screw over people with scoring, okay? So the winner should always get 2 points. Now, conversely, another reason I want you to not route is maybe give yourself a chance, is say you're losing, but hey, if you kill the enemy impressive, you get a point. I want people to go after the impressives. That's the point of this. So, wow, things aren't looking good, but hey, at least I killed this rat ogre. You now get a point. And that's going to help you over the long term of this tournament because the points are cumulative in the league. Also, I want to give out bonus points. So, I need you guys to keep track of how many kills your impressive gets in the battle. So, you'll report in Discord, hey, I won, my impressive got 2 kills. Hey, I won, my impressive got 0 kills. And we want to keep each league a running tally of impressive kills. So if it's the 2-league system like I'm hoping, there'll be 5 battles. And then whoever's impressive has the most kills gets a bonus point. Just like a victory or killing the enemy impressive, you get 1 extra point there. Also, I want to see the best score. That might be easier to show on the deployment screen, but after a battle, you get this screen that loads with the win-loss record and score and all this. And there's always an MVP down here for the winner and loser and their total score. The player who gets the highest score during that portion of the league, so say they're impressive, gets 2,000 score points, whatever I forget. I think it's called points. And that's the highest out of all the matches during that portion. They get an extra point as well. Then lastly, I want to see the highest hit. So this is something you'll have to consider while you're playing the game. You know when this is coming, and this is most likely going to go to a rat ogre or a chaos spawn. Maybe a maiden. I can't see ogres, crypt horrors, or an executioner winning this, but it's okay. We're just trying to have fun here. We want to see the highest damage hit. So for example, my Possessed, when I did Blood Offering, Daredevil, Weapons of Destruction, I knew when like a big hit was coming. And it would tell you, you know, you see your damage range, like 180 to 220 damage is about to happen. What I want you to do is attack, take a screenshot, and just save that. And so we eventually want to see who had the biggest hit during the portion of the league, and they'll get an extra point. Because I think that's kind of fun too. If there's any more you guys can think of that sound really cool, please just let me know, and we can add them later. I can send a message to the people or maybe add another little addendum to this video. So that's the scoring system. At that point, hopefully we still again have the 2 leagues. I wanted to do an upper and lower division. And then with the upper 6 guaranteed to move on, and then the 2 top qualifiers in the lower one going on, and then that would eliminate 4 players right there. And then it'll be immediately a double elimination. It's a nice round number of 8, and we do a quick double elimination tournament. And then the championship, I think, is best suited as a best of 3. I think that'd be fun to do that. Ultimate arena style. And we'll probably do them all on Count Gothhart's statue, but we'll see when that time comes along. Because, you know, that's kind of the most arena. Or we could do Count Gothhart, Market, Count Gothhart. That could be fun, too, because they're the most arena-like maps. And let's get into that. I will cut and edit in between, but while we're here, I want to show off the first map. We'll do an exhibition. And I think Market's the most complicated because it has the most options. So again, we'll go to 2, turn timer 60, route threshold 0%. And we're going to take on, maybe not them, they're a little fast. You guys look slow. Again, this mode will be none. And I'm going to show you Buyer Beware, because this is probably the most initiative influenced map that we'll have. Market Day and Dominating the Market are both kind of split, as you can see, opposite ends of the market, and they're opposite sides of the market square. But this is a ×3 deployment. It doesn't say it, but it's a ×3 deployment. So when you only have 4 units, there's always 4 at the cart. So you could literally put all 4 at your cart, and they could put all 4 at their cart. So it's almost like a split deployment anyway. But it also, you could place some closer to each other. So let's look at this one really quick. Yes, I am not as good at editing and amazing as Karin, but here we are. So this is what I'm talking about. You can put ×4 here, and your opponent can have ×4 here. So that's actually like a pretty fair deployment. But some people had a point. You know, it gets a little boring, quote unquote, if it's all just Rivals in the Ruins kind of deployments. While that's a big part of this, I think that's also fair to have it that way. I thought this map could be interesting because the team with the higher initiative, in this case it's me, can get a little risky and maybe pick some forward locations, right? Now that said, you get to place your units. So this team can jump around the map and they'll see, oh, whoa, he put his Rat Ogre right here. Since I have the faster initiative, they'll have terrain knowledge now and know the Rat Ogre's there. So while you have ×3 deployment like this, they have 1, 2, and I think it must be over here and over here. They usually mirror each other, so maybe it's over here and here or something. So you can, my point being, you can kind of counter and maybe put units based off of where you see your faster initiative team goes. Meanwhile, the faster initiative player has a chance to maybe pull off some things. So this is going to be the most interesting deployment. So when you take Marketplace, you're going to set it to random. While we're here, I'm not going to load up each one, but on, I don't think it's Buyer Beware, but the one that sounds more like Rivals in the Ruins, one team will start here, I believe it was, and the other team is here. So you're actually a little bit more in the open. So comments and range might be, but it's really risky. We're talking about max movement, using exhaustion just to get in range, but then you've used all your blue pills and you won't have a stance on, and their turn's coming up. They'll just run up here and maul you. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out, but I think it should be pretty fair. As you can see, if both players just go ×4 here and ×4 here, you actually have even more cover than if you were here and here, because you can see through these market sheds. This is pretty rock solid. So if someone wanted to get ranged or comets on you, they'd really have to come out here, and I don't know if they'd be able to. I mean, they'd really need 4 Sigmar, like really need to truck it out here. Max movement to maybe get some comets off. To maybe land them against you. Or a hunting rifle or anything with 40 meters range. So that's this deployment. That's the other one. And then I think Buyer Beware, it's totally different, which is why I wanted to add it. You actually start like in this corner. And you can have some units in these buildings. And the enemy's in this corner with some in the buildings. Now, these are not your typical Mordheim buildings. There's this big question about you can't stay in buildings. No, you cannot. So that's what I want to talk about on these maps. If you start in these buildings, which you can't help it, and the game does a good job of putting you in one with a large doorway. There should be a large doorway perhaps here. Bring your impressives out and your units out and kind of get out there on the first turn. Now, if it's a very obvious, like the stalls, we'll look at these when I get down on ground level with my Rat Ogre. You should be able to walk through all these stalls. So I would not say the stalls are off limits per se, because the impressive should be able to reach you in them. It gives you some kind of cover. And you could say the same with some of these buildings, but it needs to be really obvious that an impressive can walk into it. And you should know that if it's a big doorway or a garage doorway. I mean, so I would say you could put units in there. It's against kind of the spirit a little bit. So try to come out. The whole point is think of like a Roman Colosseum battle. And this is where the peasants are sitting. So you can't fight where the peasants are. Okay? You can fight in the arena, this circular arena with stuff, carts and whatnot on the inside and statues. Very exciting. You can even pretend this is the peasants, but I'm okay with you fighting in the ring out here. Alright, so this is totally off limits, I believe. You can go into this section, but I think these steps right here, an impressive cannot go up here. So no one should be going into this structure. And conversely, no one should be going in this structure as well. I believe there's some hiding spots. Just don't go in these two structures. So you can go in the stalls, I believe. Should not be a problem, but do not go into these structures. Do not perch some sniper up in this window that the impressive will never be able to reach. That's not cool. What you want to do is if you want to hide a unit, cast some, say it's your Magister or something, cast some buffs and walk behind the building. So you can use cover, but you can't be unreachable. I mean, don't just stand in the open like an idiot. So you can use cover, but you need to be reachable. So let's look at it. I'll put him here, him here. We'll go over in this other split off section. Interesting, we don't see any mercs yet. Okay, so there are 2 here. 1 there, and there's probably 1 over here. But so you can see the riskiness of certain deployments. So this will be the most initiative-friendly map, I would say. While we're over here, this is what I'm talking about with the doorways. An impressive cannot fit in here. This is not a good idea. You can't go in there. Now it looked like over here. Oh, I forgot I took away backtracking. Over here is a garage door. An impressive can go through here. So you could, in theory, maybe hide a unit in here, but then don't go up the steps. An impressive can't go up steps. In general, we're never going to use steps on any of these maps. Oh god, I have a turn timer too. But the impressive could come this way. So you could kind of go in this building if you really wanted to. Okay? Oh shit. Forgot he needed guidance. So I can use this unit. As you can see, these are very maneuverable. Impressives can get into all of these stalls. So this should not be a problem. You can use the stalls. Again though, we cannot use this building. This is really weird. I guess you could go up here. But so just use your best judgment of what you like. You can't go up little steps. You can't go through little doors, and I don't want to see people using them. Like an impressive could maybe go in there, but can they get to this right side? I don't think so. So just don't use it. Don't ever go up steps, and you should be good to go. So I think that's it. Hey guys, not much more to say on this map. So check out the deployments yourself. I think it's going to be the map with the most variety since it is random. You'll get all 3 deployments on this map. It'll be very interesting to see. So yeah, do not go up here. Do not go up here. Just use your common sense. Come on out. We're here to fight. Use the structures to maybe hide from magic or ranged. Obviously, it can be a little weird what they can and can't see. Skaven hide better than possessed, as I've learned. So use angles and whatnot. Use sheds. Move out and fight each other. And give this griffin up here, pony thing, whatever, Pegasus, a fight of its life. Let it enjoy it. Even eat some cabbage if you want. So that's the marketplace. I think it's going to be fun to fight on here. Alright, next we're going to be looking at Quayside, probably the second most complicated map. I mean, Market's not that complicated, you just take random. In this one, you do the even-odd test. I don't think I've talked about that. You could just call it heads or tails, 1 or 2. We just need a simple system to determine who gets to pick the map. I guess I should have previously talked about this. The veto system. When picking these... I'll talk about it at the end, but let's just say on this map there's 2 different deployments. So you're going to use a test. You can go to a website like coinflip.com. I don't even know if that's a thing, but if you trust the person, just a way to have a winner and a loser who gets to pick the deployment. So the even odd test I was talking about is a number 1 to 10. Say I'm the person, I just get to pick the number. It's arbitrary who does what. I'll pick number 7, and I'll type that to Clyde. I trust Clyde. Clyde's not in this match. Clyde, I picked the number 7. And then my opponent writes to Clyde, I picked even or odd. They want to guess what my number was, if it was even or odd. And they'll write Clyde, and they'll be like, I guess he picked an even number. And Clyde will say, wrong, it was 7. It was an odd number to that person or both people in a private message or in Discord, whatever. So it's public record. So then that means I picking the number 7, they picked even. I was the winner, so I now get to pick the deployment. I mean, you could do heads or tails. I pick heads. Hey, opponent, what do you pick? What do you think it is, heads or tails? I think you said heads. Oh, you were right. So it's the same concept. It's basically a either or test. So that's how we're just going to do it. Really simple to determine who gets to pick the deployment. In this case, we have Quayside Assault. One arrives on barges. The other comes from the sewers. I think that's going to be kind of cool. And the other one is not that, but Rumble on the Docks, where you start at opposite ends of the map. So we'll look at this one because you are kind of starting by buildings. So we'll check this one out. So in this case, you're starting here, and your opponent is over here with this like weird spiral staircasey thing. So it's kind of a closer deployment, yet there is structure in the way to protect you from early comets and things like that. For example, you can see this guy's pretty well out of the way. Here he's obviously a bit more in the open. That'd be, your opponent can probably get here and see him. And I think this is the only 2 deployments for an impressive. Conversely, the ones pretty much said, now you cannot see the sewers here. And the water looks a little different. There's docks, like floating docks in the water here and here. And you will start, now you only have 4 units, so you can spread them out if you want. Or you can put them all on this side or this side. And then the enemy team is starting in the sewers, which you can't see, but it's kind of like here, here, here. You can put them within here. So I think this is extremely safe. If you're the sewer team, it's like near impossible for them to get in here and get comets on you. Conversely, if you're the sewer team and your sisters or something, you can run out here and they're sitting out on barges like sitting ducks. You can get some shots or comets on them. So I think it's kind of fun that, you know, if I'm the sisters, I might want to pick this rumble on the docks. No, yeah, is that what it was called? Whatever. This one's rumble on the docks. So the opposite one, whatever it was called. Where I might be able to, then it's still a coin flip, but I might get the sewer team and I can come out and hit you with early comets. So it'll be interesting. It's all RNG. We have to have a little bit of RNG in this. Also, maybe sisters want this, though, because they might be able to kind of get some comets on you early. I don't know. I say this as sisters. There's also going to be warbands like Skaven or Mercs that maybe have ranged units. So, you know, a hunting rifle here will maybe be able to shoot some people standing out in the open. So that's the deployments on this map. What's important to talk about here is buildings. This is the most building-heavy map. So we're actually going to use guidance this time. And these are more of your typical, you'll actually see these buildings on merchants and nobles quarter kind of structures versus the market sheds we were looking at on the last one. So steps, don't go up these steps. It's very obvious. Don't go in these doorways. Impressives probably can't go in these doorways. So what we're talking about on this map is all these little teeny tiny buildings. Don't go in them. Now you could maybe go here to kind of make your combat circle smaller, where the opponent impressive can still grab onto your circle. But don't go over here. Like, that's not cool. I mean, he might be able to reach you, but if he can't, you're risking a forfeiture of the unit or the match. So I don't want you to just be like, la, I'm standing in the open because I have to. You can use some cover. Just be really judicious about it. This, really bad idea. An impressive probably can't reach you. So don't do that. Alright? And we can test it here with my Rat Ogre as soon as I'm done. So as you go down here, this is all okay. This is kind of open. Impressives can reach here. I mean, he could probably reach the unit's combat circle here, but you're getting a little iffy. But he should be able to reach it here. There's like a little back walkway here. Like this, not cool. An impressive can't get in here, most likely. So try in general to stay out of these little buildings and just try to use cover like corners. You want to use corners and cubbies to try to stay away from line of sight or impressives. Don't just stand out in the open like some maniac, okay? So you can regain some pills here. And there's this row of buildings here. Like, you definitely are going to want to be staying out of here. But again, let's see if I have exhaustion. I don't want you to just stand out in the open like an idiot. So you could probably stand over here. This is just fine. You want to not have him get surrounded by every enemy opponent. But an impressive will be able to reach him at the same time. So some cover is obviously usable. Going upstairs or into tight little nooks like this room, this is a bad idea. Like, no impressive can get through here. So there's a big difference. I don't want people to get upset and be like, oh, my opponent actually stood in the corner and had some cover. He's not away from the impressive. The impressive will be able to reach his combat circle. Okay? Here, an impressive will never be able to reach it no matter how hard he tried. So that's a big distinction to make, I believe. Oh, he smells terrible now. So that you can kind of go down this ramp. Don't be going up these steps. Don't be going in this little doorway. That big doorway right there, that looks kind of okay, though. But don't go too far into this big doorway right here. Let's check it out with my Rat Ogre, who is now no longer stupid. So he can kind of go in here, but like I said, do you want to risk that? Like here now, suddenly he can't. And if you're around the corner there, I'd be like, well, tag, you're dead. I can't reach you. Or you should forfeit, because that's not cool. But see, he's having a hard time. So, you know, that's why I was like, here is kind of okay if he's on this corner. But if you go back into the building, that's not okay. Let's head on down here. See, you can get through these steps. So obviously you can use these steps. I mean, you're going to start in the sewers as one of the deployments. We were just talking about right in there. While your opponent's out there on the docks. So you can get to all these places over here. You can use these steps. I mean, that's kind of obvious. We're talking about little staircases. These are not good steps to use. These are staircases in the building. In this case, he was able to use it. I mean, I'm kind of shocked, actually. Usually their head clips on this floor right above him. I'm surprised he was able to get up here. See, suddenly he can't go down now, though. There he is. Like, there's a 60-second timer. We don't want your opponent to be, like, trying to get up a goddamn stairs. See, he can get that unit that was here. Rah, 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 tear him apart. Ugh. They just clip onto everything, don't they? No wonder the AI has such a hard time. Here. Oh, he actually does get up, but it's iffy. He's having a hard time now. He's stuck here. He can't get any farther. But just don't use these steps, okay? This is a rat ogre. Maybe the ogre or chaos spawn can't get up there. But this doorway, like I was saying, is kind of okay, but don't go in too far. You want to be on, you know, you're just using it as cover from ranged. Not like, whoa, let me go way high up in the building, okay? And while we're looking at this map, that's why this one could be interesting. If you're a very aggressive Sisters player, you can get kind of all the way over to your opponent. Get some comments. But you have used exhaustion. You're way up in the heart of my army. Is this what you want to be doing? So if you're deploying on this side, whoever this was did a good job of hiding behind cover. You know, maybe deploy your units where they're out of line of sight. Like I could see that Maiden. So if I was the Sisters, I get way over here and I can maybe drop some comments on your impressive. So keep these things in mind. I want you to be able to get maybe a little bit of skirmishing in on turn 1, but not like totally like you're fucked and lost the match kind of stuff. And have it be very risky. Like you have to use all your blue pills and exhaustion and stuff to be able to have a chance to kind of get closer to your opponent. So then when it's the opponent's turn, they can just run out and crush you and not use all their blue pills. Be able to enter stances. So you'll pay a price to get that early damage off. Alright, so that's Quayside a bit. Again, I don't think I need to load it up, but if you're out on these things, it's a little different because you have to kind of come this way. It's a north-south fight. So the battles will be taking place maybe more on this main street. But don't be getting in the buildings. You know, there's this ramp right in front of us that brings you up further. So the battles will probably be occurring like here, 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 using this ramp. You know, obviously this team, the sewers team, I think gets the advantage because they're in cover and they can then get the high ground. So it'll be a little harder for the team out here, I think. But yeah, you can kind of run to cover and slowly make your way up, though, maybe. Depends how long you want the battle to go. So that's Rumble at the Docks. Yeah, and I just wanted to say quickly, I mentioned it, but this is the screen I'm talking about. Oh, shit. But in the... I'll edit that out. Alright, so here we are with Temple. You will be taking only Temple Skirmish. This is the only option on the Temple. It's a pretty fun looking one, I think. We'll check it out here. So if you pick Temple, this will be every single time. What happens is you start behind this wall on both sides. It's pretty fun, I think. Gives you some cover. Again, I think a super aggressive Sisters or Skaven warband can maybe get some shots. Now, first of all, that's 50-50. As you can see, the deployments are all along here. So let's say I'm Skaven right here on this side. I put all 4 of my units here. Your sisters, if you come this way and try expecting to get some shots, you may be disappointed because I'm actually on this side. Conversely, if I put my 4 units here and you started down here and you're going to run this way to try to get some shots, oh, whoops, he's way up here. So it's a gamble. It's a gamble. Is it something you want to do? Now you could win perfectly, and you put your sisters here. I put my Skaven here. Yeah, you could probably maybe get to here and get some comets. But again, it's risky. It's risky. Okay. Conversely, you could take your first turn and try to play it safe, and then you can go into the temple, guys, and go in the door here or go here and set up in really good positions for an assault on turn 2. I mean, it's up to your play style. Obviously, the impressive, very limited on its deployment. So it's either going to be I'm going to be on this side or I'm going to be on this side. This one's a bit more exposed, obviously, unfortunately. So you'll probably have a pretty good idea of the enemy impressives right there. But maybe they put it there. Maybe they're feeling risky. We'll put some on both sides. 118, that has got to be an auger. Good for her. Ironically, a build I think could work in this. She makes a really good melee resist tank and a holder downer. I think she could be a good option for maidens. So you can quickly come in, oops, onto this trap. Come into this building. This is fine. I believe this is no problem for impressives. Also, they can climb. So you can come into here and fight. This should all be fair game. If you play on temple, you should probably put it on daytime. This is really fucking dark, and I apologize. It's obviously on a night setting, so maybe turn the settings to daytime if you actually want to see something. Whew, that's dark. Let's check it out with the Rat Ogre. No problem coming in here. The benches are intact. This doorway is open. You can use these side doors over here. You can go up top even. I'm pretty sure the impressives can get to all of these locations. So this map is pretty much fair game everywhere as far as I can tell. I'm not sure if there's really any cubbies you can hide in here. Oh, okay, he cannot use that. So maybe we'll call upstairs off limits. I think that's only fair. We'll just call upstairs off limits, since he can't use this one. And maybe a maiden will be able to. So we'll just turn those off limits. No climbing upstairs. Now there are stairs over here. That said, you can kind of go in the stairwells. See, this one I bet he can use. No, he can't. Okay. So yeah, no climbing upstairs. Impressives can't reach them. That's probably going to be the rule on most maps. Just don't go upstairs. Stay rooted. It's so weird which impressives can and cannot use climb points. So he could have gotten to the steps here, but he can't use those climb points. So I don't want you guys... Now, once you're inside the temple, you can start to maybe come this way. An impressive can make its way in. So I wouldn't say you can never go up the steps, but on turn 1, don't be climbing up here. Obviously, he couldn't reach there. I don't want to see, like, comet spammers or archers sitting up here. Now, obviously, heroes will be able to reach there, but I don't know. It's up for debate. If you guys think that's fair, we can open it up, because heroes can both climb up here and leave the impressives on the ground floor. But in general, I mean, it kind of gets away from the point of this tournament. We want to be, like, pounding the shit out of each other in an arena right here in the middle or here. or here. I mean, whatever happens to happen. We don't want units taking 20 fucking turns, going to the perfect spot, running to this corner, skirmishing. I mean, we're just here to beat the shit out of each other. So, yeah, that's all I'll say about that. Okay, now we're looking at Count Steinhardt's Palace, not to be confused with the statue. Both will be used during this. Gameplay mode none, and we're going to be doing Counting Coup. So you're on opposite ends. This is another tiny one. I think this can help initiative warbands. If anyone saw my ass get handed to me by Shellproof, he took very good advantage of starting here, shooting me, and then retreating. So that can happen on this map for sure. My ideal scenario is we're fighting kind of at this mega doorway. Like an impressive here, an impressive there. May the best impressive win. That's, you know, that's kind of what I'm envisioning when I pick this map. I think that'd be the most fun. Beat down your door. So this map, probably don't want to hide in here, guys. I'm not sure if your combat circles stick out or not. So I don't know if you're in here and a large impressive can't reach you, you're disqualified or you've lost that unit. Conversely, don't go in here. That's kind of obvious. Look at this door. Impressive probably can't get in here. Don't go up the steps. There's not much here anyway. There's no reason for you to be coming over here. You can just hang out over here. You're assaulting the palace. You're not going to meet the servants in the servants' quarter, okay? I mean, you can hide back here for whatever reason, because impressives can reach there, but just kind of stay out of here. Now, I'm not inside. I don't know if it's the same, that there's little doorways. There's some maybe over here. So why the hell would you be over here anyway is beyond me. And this might be a little doorway too. So if you're going back here, look, guys, this is a dead end. So if in the campaign maps, you can actually come all this way, but you can't on this map. This is the only doorway. And if you're starting here and your opponent's here, why would you be moving this way or this way? I mean, go this way. So that said, don't go in this building. Don't go in these little guardhouses. I mean, just to be safe. Otherwise, I think it's pretty much wide open. I mean, we can check it out here. I mean, he could probably get on a unit that's in there, but don't risk it. Yeah, he can't get in there, so don't go in there. Here you'll be able to see a bit what I'm talking about. I mean, I don't like this map, but if you're playing the veto and you know you're playing a high initiative opponent, veto this map immediately. Just be like, yeah, I don't want to play Count's Palace. You'll be okay, because I still have a lot of blue pills and I'm already seeing them. So you can comment the shit out of them, or maybe apply poisons, or just get easy ranged. Now the AI put their units up here. You can deploy more back here, I think. So I'd have to use a few more blue pills to get closer, as you can see there. I'm still not even seeing two of them. It's really weird. Maybe they're on the side. See, yeah, you can kind of hide on the side a little. So I only have one blue pill left just to see that matriarch. So with reloads and stuff, it's risky. It's very risky. You can do it, though. I think what Shellproof did, since I had to take a 10-man warband, it's very different with a 10-man versus a 4-man. I had to have units that were up here. With 4-man, you just put them back here. But he was able to shoot the two frontmost units in my match. So obviously don't put your units right at the door. And that will help a lot too. An ideal situation, you know, you use your first turn to kind of set up, do some buffs, use your consumables, and we have a fucking battle of behemoths right here at the door, just beating the shit out of each other. May the best behemoth win. Yeah, so that's this map. You can go up these. This is totally fine. You can use this ranged elevation. Everyone can get into here. Not a problem. I don't know if I have the exhaustion for it. I should be able to get through there. Oh, whoa. There's a bitch over there. She's kind of blocking the way I wanted to go. I was going to check that little side pit, but again, why would you possibly be over here anyway? I just don't see the point of it. He's got all the warp dust right on his testicles. But yeah, you should be able to go all this way. So, yeah, I don't think you can see the doorway here. I don't think you can get through there right in front of me. So, again, why are you possibly going back left or back right? The battle's over here, guys. So, I think, again, I'm just saying, so if someone's like, I didn't know, now you know. Don't go in here. Don't go into this back corner. Don't go over here. We're going north and south. We're fighting here. Have at it. Okay? Oh, yeah, I'm going to stay on this a second. So you can see that what I'm talking about with the points earlier. Does my cursor go away? It does go away. So you see most valuable warrior there on the right side. It was Hugrik Naw. He got 0 points. But in an actual battle, you'll get an impressive, can probably get close to 2,000 points. That'll probably be the winning score, will be about 2,000 points. So I want to see the highest score there. They get an extra bonus point for right there. So if you feel like you have a contender, take a screenshot and save it, and then we'll compare. All right, guys? All right, and then last, the most epic map in the game, Statue of Count Gothhart. Turning off special gameplay. There's lurking looters and Count Conflict. We are not taking cornered. I think it's just too close to each other. So you're either gonna, the winner will pick, hey, I want lurking looters, I want the Count Conflict. Why are these so similar but they're available? Lurking looters, you start a little closer to each other. So if you're that initiative player, you really want to take advantage of initiative and ranged, you'd probably want lurking looters. If you're the slow-ass fucking mercenaries or witch hunters or sisters or whatever, I don't know, maybe you have a slow warband, take the Count Conflict. You're a lot safer on turn 1. So we'll look at lurking looters. It's got the most awkward kind of things going on. Because as you said, it's inside the buildings. You're actually inside the buildings on this one. So I want to make sure we don't mess up on this. So on this one, you're inside the buildings, as I've said. On the other one, you're back here. So it's a slight difference. It's a slight difference. The big one being that buildings act as cover. When you're inside the building, you might not have as much cover. Your opponent may be able to get up here and like snipe you through some windows. So, because they'll be starting here versus here. So they'll be here in these buildings. You'll be in these buildings. You could be maybe shot or combated. So if you're the more slow initiative player, you'll probably want the other one where you start in the back row. Now, while we're looking at this map, you could stay in this outer ring, but this is the Battle of Behemoths, not the battle of street peasants who lost their bet to the Roman gladiators, and this is where they'll be fighting each other because they'll be so sad that their gladiator lost. And someone will be coming to collect their debts, and they have to feed their family. So this is where they're fighting. You're gladiators, goddammit. Get in the fucking arena. Get in here. This is the most arena map I've ever seen. And it's a big arena. Get in here. This is what spawned it all. My idea was this map. It's even got this fun platform and stuff. You can kind of hide here from line of sight and here. So that said, just like the marketplace, that's weird that I'm up here. I don't even know if this guy can get down from here. So it gives you some weird deployment options. So if you're a large impressive, don't take that one. You're probably basically locked into this one deployment now. Yeah, I don't know if he'll be able to get down from there. Maybe he can use this jump point in front of his head here. Or maybe he can get down the steps. There's a jump point behind him though too, I think there was. Whatever that blue arrow. Maybe there's one behind him though. So if you're this guy, be like, oh, this is great. It's good cover. I'm upstairs. Yeah, probably don't do that. You might not be able to get him out of there. You could re-roll the match if that's the case. So you're probably stuck putting your large impressive there. So you can see you're not in as much cover. There's the windows. Now, okay, so you could start up here. I am totally fine with this. I really am. You can start up here turn 1, but you sure as shit better be walking down those steps in front of you and out into the arena when it's your turn. Don't just sit in here. Get out there. It'd be like, and from this corner, Squin Shadow Killer runs out into the arena. Okay? Don't be like, oh, this is great. No one can reach me. No, you're disqualified. You didn't enter combat. The Romans would just stab you in the neck, find a new gladiator. Oh, you don't want to compete? Here, feed them to the lions. Get the fuck out there. Okay? But you can start here. I'm okay with that. I also don't want you to get nuked with comets on turn 1. If you happen to have a decent looking little hiding nook like this, okay. Yeah. That's fine. Don't think you have to like spawn right here and just get nuked to shit by a sister. So, oh, it's my turn. I better get the fuck out of here. And I've mentioned you better make sure you have enough blue pills because you might run into a trap. So if you're using guidance and stimulus and all this, and then you try to run out into the combat arena and like, oh, I'm out of blue pills, that's your fault. You're in trouble. Get out of here. Oh, I hear listen to the roar of the crowd. You can hide from range stuff using cover plenty well on this map. Because think they'd have to come all the way to here or to here to be able to see you. So you can kind of use some cover. So maybe the sisters grouped up and kind of went this way. So you'll use this corner more, and they'll have to come all the way around to see you. All right, so there is some cover with this wall, or even these little things here. Maybe it's going to be hard. You know how Mordheim is. You're like, oh, I'm safe, but your tail is showing, so they can nuke the shit out of you. But it is what it is. If you're playing sisters, you're playing ranged, you better throw down some warp mists, take some talisman. It's your own fault. There's no reason you can't get a high magic resist chance against some sisters. I don't want you to be like, oh, they just nuked me to death. It's like, well, did you take magic resistance? Did you take talisman? Or are you Skaven? And Skaven are weak to comets. That's the whole point. You're meanwhile crushing everyone else that's weak to your kind of warband style. You're going to be weak to sisters. You're the Skaven. Okay? So while combat's going, we've talked about this on the marketplace. Could I hide in here? Yeah, you could kind of hide your unit in here. This is okay. I'm okay with this. I hope you guys are too, because this is what I would call a garage door. Now, it's kind of a little pussy, you know, like the Romans would be like, what's wrong with this Squin Shadow Killer? I thought he was a killer. He's really just a shadow hider. This is not okay. You're too far back. And if you're like, oh, but the enemy impressive could run this way and then run around, and it's like, yeah, he could. Or if they designed the game better, he could just run through this fucking doorway and shred you. But they didn't, so don't go this way. This is too much. This is way too much hiding. That's why there's foul mists. But you could, in theory, I'm okay with. I know I have like a condescending voice, like, I mean, I don't want you to make it seem like you're a fucking loser, but you could hide in here. I get it. I don't want to be nuked by sisters' comets. But large impressive should be able to reach me. So if you see a garage door, okay, you could probably hide in that building. If you see this little door, no, don't go in this building. Garage door, okay, this is okay in this front room. Here, not okay. You've now crossed the line. Here you're like, wow, you really want disqualified. What are you doing? So, use your best judgment. It should be obvious to all. Is my rat ogre over here? See, you can get old ratty ogre some guidance. So this is a good example of this is your fault. If you end your turn back here. Oh, I didn't know I had to do guidance, and I ran out of blue pills, and I ended in the building. Like, it's your fault. Or if you're like, well, I'm exposed. A large impressive can get me. If he simply knows to come all the way over here and then come around and get me. Like that, come on, you know? That's not very fair. So. Because as you can see, I spawned in here, so I can go through this garage door, no problem. You can use these side nooks. I'm actually kind of okay with using these side nooks. It gets kind of into the gray area again when you're way back in this outer ring. Like, don't be playing your matches in the outer ring. We're here to play an arena-style battle, not who can move up the ring better and use cover and, oh, there's a big garage door, I can hide a bit. Like, we've done that. That's Wartime Madness. That's all the other matches we played. I want to see you get your Rat Ogre over here and just shred each other in front of this horse. This is what people want to see. Okay? I don't think there's much else to say about this. You'll find some where there's small doors. Don't go in there. You can go in the side alleyways. This is fine. Just don't go running all the way to the end. This is okay. Oh, look. My opponent's in here. He happens to be in here, but I could totally reach him. Alright, so this is kind of okay if you fight in here. I mean, it is okay. I don't want to say kind of okay. It's okay. Because if you're this Templar, you don't want to be like out in the open, everyone's surrounded on your combat circle. It's like, yeah, I'm trying to protect an important unit, so I'm going to put my Templar in this garage door and my important warrior priest over here in the corner to kind of protect them. That's okay. That's just smart gameplay. My Rat Ogre can come and shred apart your Templar, and then if he wins, he can get in here on your warrior priest. So that's okay, guys. It's okay. I just want impressives to be able to reach you at all times. That's the whole point of this. I think these little nooks will be fun because you kind of put a unit here to cover the squishiers in behind. You can put down like Idols of Change or things to like just really protect your warband and then move out for the kill the next turn or something. That's really what I think will be happening. It should be happening. You'll like group up, get your buffs going, maybe use your consumables, maybe here or here, and the battle will really be starting to take place turn 2. So anyway, that's enough of this map, and I believe that's all the maps. So we'll go into a little bit about map selection, the veto system. It's going to work out on Discord, or you can chat in person, whichever. So, again, the ideal... Come on, let's let Filch talk a second here. Filch, it was an exhibition, bro. Just calm your panties. So, I really want the 2 leagues of 6 because it works out perfectly. You're playing 5 matches, and there's literally 5 maps to pick from. So that would be perfect. But the way it would work, so your first match against your first opponent, hey, I'm available this day. I am too. Hey, we can play. Because as I've said, play anyone in your league whenever you want. Just play the matches. So you'll start with the veto system. You're brand new. Both have not played a match. So the way it works is, hey, I eliminate Quayside. I think I said the person on the right picks first. They're considered the home team. So they would say, I don't want Quayside. And then the other player goes, okay, I don't want Marketplace. And then the other player's turn again says, I don't want Temple of Sigmar. Okay, I don't want Statue of Count Gothard. Alright, so the map has now been decided. It's Count Steinhardt's Palace. We know from which maps you can pick. There's only one, so it's already done. You go to none for gameplay options, and you're taking County Coup. You play your match. Now, player 1 and 2, A and B, whatever you want to call them, they have both used Count Steinhardt's Palace, so that is totally off limits now. So now they're on their second match, and maybe their opponent already picked this map, but it's automatically vetoed for them. So they're going to play, we'll just pretend it's a new player that hasn't even played a match yet. Okay, so it starts, the home team is, let's just say it's the new player. They're like, they might know. I think you should probably tell them beforehand. I've already done Count Gothardt's statue or Steinhardt's statue. Oh my God. I've already done Count Steinhardt's Palace. These are so similar. So they could know to not pick. They don't even have to worry about picking that. So then they could be like, oh, okay, so you've already taken that one. They could just be nice and say, okay, Count Steinhardt's Palace. And then you can just go from there. Or they'll just be like, all right, then I don't want statue of Count Gothard. And then you get a turn. I don't want Quayside. They get a turn. I don't want Marketplace. Now you're stuck on Temple of Sigmar. So now you've played Temple of Sigmar, and you've played Count Steinhardt's Palace. You're going to go through and through until hopefully you've just played every map. Now, I realize mathematically you may come to a situation where you kind of have to pick a repeat. In that case, we mark it down. You've played on Temple of Sigmar 2 times, maybe even in a freak way 3 times. You're really not going to be playing Temple of Sigmar then in the next league or maybe even in the elimination tournament, because it's going to remain vetoed and vetoed and vetoed for you for a long time. Okay? So hopefully that's not too complicated. It's hopefully going to introduce some variety. Let's pretend a scenario where we pick, not Marketplace, because that's going to be random also. I think there's only 2 maps where you get to actually pick the deployment. It's going to be the statue where we just were, and it's going to be Quayside. So let's say it ends to Quayside. All right, we've determined we're at Quayside. You do that even odd or coin flip test or whatever, and whoever wins that then gets to pick the deployment. Either it's going to be the Rumble at the docks or Quayside Assault. They get to pick that. So they'll pick what's more advantageous to themselves. And maybe it's not even. Maybe it's just irrelevant and you just pick whichever. All right. And I think also if it's a tie, let's say it was the situation where the first one, where the 2 new players, they play a match, and let's just pretend they play each other again. They only have 4 maps to pick from. I would do the even odd test again. So in that situation, they both played on Count Steinhardt's Palace. So they both cannot pick that. So it would start home team says, I don't want Count Gotthard's statue. The next player says, I don't want Quayside. So then there's 2 maps left. I guess that works just fine. They could say, I don't want Temple of Sigmar, and that defaults to the Marketplace. So I was wondering if there'd be an even odd test there, and there's not. So never mind. But if there's ever a situation where it is in the air, just do that coin flip, even odd test, however you wanted to. You could even say, I don't give a fuck. This is just a friendly game. You pick. You know, I'm just feeling friendly. You pick the map. You pick the deployment. I really don't care. I mean, however you guys want to resolve it. All right? So I think that's enough rambling on. That's the maps. That's how you get the maps. That's how you get the deployments. I've talked about how you get the scores, which warbands to take. If there's any questions, please hit me up on Discord or on Steam and get those warbands built, and hopefully I'll start recording this week or next week, and we can start getting into combat after Mordheim Madness winds down. So I will see you out there in the arena, boys and boys, unless there's somehow a girl that signs up.